We were formed in March of 1919 in what they call an extraordinary session of the legislature. Basically what it was Governor Cornwell at the time was wanting an agency, a police agency, that could be impartial. And what was happening at the time was we had a lot of coal mine wars going on. We had a lot of coal companies that were probably paying, helping out law enforcement agencies to kind of side with them on strikes or on issues that were occurring at the time. And Governor Cornwell wanted somebody to be impartial, wanted a law enforcement agency that could not be bought by a coal company or be on the side of miners. So he wanted a state police, just like a couple other states had done. Michigan had done it as well. And he wanted to form a state police, again, to be impartial just like the other states had done. We were formed from men who came from the military, from World War I. So pretty much like we didn't have a recruiting agency, we didn't have anybody, it was just word of mouth. As a matter of fact, our very first enlisted trooper was picked by Jackson Arnold, who was our superintendent, our very first superintendent. So it was really word of mouth. It was basically getting guys from retired members from World War I. Hence the reason why we wear green. That's the whole part of our green uniform is the fact that it came from the military, from military men. We didn't have a budget to do uniforms. We didn't have a budget to do much of anything. It was basically bring your military uniform, be able to shoot a weapon, and know how to ride a horse. And that's kind of how we formed. We didn't have, again, a lot of men. Probably around 1920, 21, we were looking between 125, probably less than 125 men in the agency to cover the entire state of West Virginia. Originally, we had what we call kind of like companies. It was Company A and Company B. We had two of them to begin with. It was basically the easy way to look at it is we split it up, the North and the South. Then we split it up into four. So they did like the Eastern Panhandle, Northern Panhandle, middle part of the state, southern part of the state. So you had companies A, B, C, and D. And they would disperse men that way. Most of the way of traveling was by horse or by train. So if something were to happen in the South and say they had to bring a lot of men from up north, they would put them on a train and train everybody down from the northern part of the state. So it could take a day or so to get people from the northern part to the southern part of the state. So it was very rugged. Again, horseback was about the only way that people got around other than a train system until cars became popular, and then we started using cars after that. There was a really big scare about having a police state, what they would call police state, where there was just, we would rule over everybody, and that was a big scare. That's why it took a little while for us in West Virginia to be able to get the state police, because of that extraordinary session of the legislature. There was a lot of argument that we don't want the state having their own police force to come in and do what they want to do. So we had to make sure that we didn't do that as well. So the creation of the state police was being impartial for coal mine companies, for the coal miners, also for the state itself. We didn't want to overrun our power as a state police agency, so we also had to watch out for that too.